welcome to Café Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It is Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in PodCastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. My name is Mike Matthews.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And here's the part of the show where I sing and I complain about the temperature, and then I have to come up with a rhyme that will be that will rhyme with temperature, and then I have a complete. I have to move the furniture. Hey, Amazon.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I could have gotten home furniture discounts of 17% during Prime Day, but I completely forgot.
Mike's
It just came and went.
Daily
Why?
Podcast.
Why does that thing happen?
Yeah.
Why do I always think it's going to happen on Black Friday? Is that something else? What's the thing Alibaba did that Singles Day, 11/11? That was a thing going on in Asia that I was only privy to because of a business podcast show that I used to produce. And I would hear about it and go, oh, and I think I bought one thing off of Alibaba eons ago. But Apple is making strides in India. As the global market becomes increasingly competitive, Apple has turned toward India as a way to diversify its revenue stream. Global smartphone shipments increased to 45.2 million units this year in the second quarter. Apple maintains its longtime number 2 position behind Samsung. I didn't know that it was right behind Samsung. Wow. Because all my friends have, because I got a Samsung and all my friends have Apple, they go, oh, we'll just do FaceTime. And I go, I can't do FaceTime. I do the thing that Samsung has, the video Samsung something. I don't know what they call it. And they're like, okay, well, I guess that's not going to work. And it would help because I do a lot of IT technical type stuff. And it helps if people show me what it is they're asking about.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Versus describing it over the phone. Like me describing the podcast picture over the podcast. Over this audio focus type podcast. Well, it's going to be of some dramatic photo that will grasp your eyes and not let go. And you'll see it at mikesdailypodcast.com. It'll be wonderful, and you'll tell all your friends. Yes, I have no idea what it... I think something else from Heron Bay. I had a wonderful time there a couple weeks back. And yeah, we'll maybe do a picture from that. See it at mikesdailypodcast.com, where I took the late great Basil the Boxer on many a walk. Such a beautiful part of the East Bay, and I don't think people go there enough. And it certainly is much cooler than PodCastro Valley. If you are in the East Bay area, I would check it out. So, oh, hey, speaking of pets, here's Rocky the cat joining us at Café Anyway. He is very quiet. He is stealth-like, but he is going to jump on my lap and start to claw me. And that will not be fun, because cats do that. The global market share for Apple is starting to slip from around almost 17% last year to 16% this year. And then there's Vivo. It saw its market share increase over 1%. Also, Xiaomi, that was up 15%. Vivo was up 9%. Apple has turned toward India for new group, or that was last year rather. 9.1% for Vivo, and Xiaomi is it Xiaomi? That is almost 15.
Now that's legit.
15%. Apple has turned toward India for new growth with its rising middle class, and their total sales in India reached almost $8 billion, a roughly 33% increase from the year prior. India is a big market. They are currently just, they're 690 million smartphones in circulation in India, which has 1.4 billion people, and iPhones accounting for just 3.5% of that market, if you didn't know. And if you're listening to me on a smartphone, thank you. And perhaps you're even watching on Facebook Live on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Mike's Daily Podcast. Binging Bridgerton with commercial breaks. Netflix said the ad tier had 40 million users and earns more money per user from its ad tier than from its premium subs. I heard a show recently on Bloomberg about how the streaming services are going to stop.
I can't believe. What the hell is this place anyway?
It's Café Anyway, is what it is. But they're going to stop reporting these type numbers because the numbers go up and down and up and down. And basically, they've maxed out. They're as big as they're going to be. They're going to instead release results that have to do with how much money they actually pull in, not necessarily how many users or viewers you have, which in podcasting world, that means the listeners, the amount of listeners you have. That's what you owe. Oh, you have a podcast? How many listeners do you have? How many? Well, in YouTube land, it's how many subscribers do you have? And then, then we can talk if you have over 3 million subscribers. Then maybe we'll give you your own show on the radio. That's how that works. So people are, and on Facebook, by the way, they've stopped talking about how many people actually use Facebook because it's maxed out. Everybody's is using it. Unless they're using Roblox. I heard today about how people are using Roblox, youngins are using Roblox as a social media. I don't play video games. Maybe I'd be less uptight if I didn't play video. I'd be less gray in my beard if I played more video games. Be more youthful here at Café Anyway. Ice cream brand Haagen-Dazs is going to appear in the Super Bowl for the first time next year. The brand is the second to confirm its Super Bowl buy, following Skechers, the shoe brand. Get it Super Bowl Sunday and Haagen-Dazs. And we're outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. All that news from Rob Black. I produce his podcast, and you can hear his show, The Rob Black Show, weekday mornings on AM 1220 KDOW. And he is also on Cron TV in the 9 o'clock hour, Monday through Thursday. So you might be saying to yourself, Mike, this is an interesting podcast, but all I hear is a lot of you reading news and reading stuff. And that's funny because I had a talk with somebody who also works in radio, and he and I both have dealt with John Tesh. Now, this guy I work with in radio, he actually met John Tesh. I've never met John Tesh. I've never met his lovely wife, Connie Selica, from Greatest American Hero and the movie, or the TV show.
Good morning, Mr. Matthews.
Hotel was the name of that show, with Thanos' dad. Thank you, kids, by the way. Yes, it's great to have you here this morning. That would be, I always want to say his name is Sam Elliott, but that's the other guy with the cool voice that does it's beef, it's what's for dinner. And he was in the Big Lebowski. And it's so hot, I'm reaching Biden's stage where I can't access certain memory files in my brain because of the heat. And even though I'm outside and there's a nice breeze blowing, trying to cool me down, here in Podcastro Valley, it's still freaking hot in the land of Ameritopica with all these topicas and the last place on earth. What was I saying? That we were discussing how John Tesh's show, if you've ever heard it, it's usually on music stations that play adult contemporary. That's the top 40 hit songs, the most popular songs, but the ones that are a little bit less edgy, less controversial and offensive, that are more suitable for families driving in cars with kids. So John Tesh would be on at night, and he wouldn't actually, as a typical DJ would do.
You ready?
In the most traditional sense, a DJ would press a button and his microphone would turn on, and he would then speak over music or aside, coming in and out of songs, whatever it is. and do his little DJ thing. Hey, this song is going out to Selena listening in Oxnard tonight. Thanks for listening. It's another song she's dedicating to her husband who passed away 5 years ago. A song by Vince Gill. Here we are with Never So Lonely. Never knew lonely, rather. Never knew lonely till I met you. Wait, till I never knew was lonely. Never knew lonely till you. I've been in such a 80s, 90s country music kick lately. Just flashing back, reverting back. Anyway, the guy, Café Anyway, that I know in radio, and we were discussing John Tesh. The guy said to me, you know, what John Tesh does, all he does is he rips, and he actually says this on his show, he rips stuff out of the magazine and just reads it on the air. And I said, yeah. And he goes, that's pretty much the most boring radio I've ever heard of. Oh, and he's a complete germaphobe. But then that's just about everybody these days, isn't it? So I guess the point is, I do sometimes pull some...
Oh, wow, that's wild.
I know this is wild. Don't tell everyone. Keep this between us. But occasionally I do rip something out of the Costco connection. The stuff that really grabs me, and I read it on the podcast. But I try and make it in a way that you and I can maybe pull something from it and make it more interesting. I don't want to just regurgitate all the stuff you hear over and over and over again in the news. Like, how much stuff can I hear about Kamala? How much stuff can I hear about Trump? How much stuff can I hear about you got these people that think that Trump wasn't really shot at. He faked the blood. These are people on the left saying that. And they're just as bad as saying that the election was a fraud. That those votes were fake. That was all being said on the right side. And then you've got all the people criticizing Kamala and saying, oh, she got ahead because she...
It's Bison Bentleys. Do you know that?
Hey, this is Bison Bentley. And Mike Matthews has a couple of stories that'll make you want to ask yourself, do you know that?
Do you know that? Well, you probably, if you're in the Bay Area, know... Well, I have a lot of male friends that tell me, Kamala and Willie Brown. And they bring that up all the time. And it's as soon as they say that, I know they don't like Kamala. And this is their one thing they pull out about Kamala. She basically did things to get to the top. Well, whatever. I find that low-hanging fruit annoying that they would just... that always... Yeah, okay. Calling Trump the orange one. It's that same kind of playground just immaturity. I'm really sick of it. But that's what's going on with the political world. And I'm hot and I can't access any more information in my brain about what's annoying me in that particular area. But it's true. Why do we stoop to that low? And I hear that on both sides constantly. But really, this is what's interesting about the whole...
Do you have any safe spaces?
Safe spaces?
Yes, where people can go to get away from the colonialist mentality. As long as there's a diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, we'll be fine.
Oh, and they bring that up. The DEI thing. She was a DEI hire. Okay. There have been some good DEI hires. There's this blanket statement going on from everyone white and middle-aged and male, basically people that look like me, whiny white men, saying this sort of affirmative action has never done anything good. DEI, diversity, inclusivity, and equity and all that has never been good, has never done anything good. And they say that, but the proof is there that it has done good. So I don't know what people just ignoring what is there. But I guess my point is that Uber now shows an average wait time and cost for rides in thousands of cities now. The feature, which aims to make planning summer travel easier, comes as record numbers of travelers are passing through U.S. airports. And that is what people are doing. Also, Social Security.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
No, wait a minute. I didn't call you the orange one. Social Security checks likely to only get 2.7% increase because of the cooling inflation happening. That's another, yeah. So don't expect the Social Security checks to be much bigger than 2.7%, they say. Yeah, so we have this immaturity going on the playground. I talked to a guy today who's very right-wing. And basically, we came to an agreement on something that we both agreed that, yes, politicians, 99.9% of them are hungry for power. And if you take that tact, you and I both agree on that. If we both agree on that, then everything you say about the candidate I like,
Note to self.
and everything I say about the candidate you like, it's true. Somewhere, someone wants power. Note to self. Okay. But back to what I wanted to say was I no longer play that type of music I was talking about, the top 40, that's more friendly to adults, to youngins, to women who are who have no kids and who have cats. J.D. Vance brought that up, and that will be his undoing. It will be what causes him to not get to torpedo the votes that would have gone to Trump. And Jennifer Aniston took that quote, which he did back in 2021, and ran with it. And it just amazes me. I heard that on CBS's radio thing, or maybe it was their TV news thing, whatever it was. I attribute it to CBS. They just rattled it off really quick, played the quote, and then moved on, didn't make any. I said, you cannot say that about women that own cats. You cannot criticize women who have a quote unquote cackle. It is not a cackle. This is a very deep from the inside laugh as I pour you this fine drink, this fine root beer here that will probably make you cackle because it'll make you happy and jolly. It makes you laugh from the deep recesses of your insides is what it is. It's a belly laugh. Why we got to call it a cackle? That is also very misogynistic and sexist, and it's got to stop. Don't you guys? It is.
Try to game me, no?
Yeah. And I'll tell you something. It's true. And I know.
Oh my
See,
God,
men.
Jeez.
Men can cackle too. It's not just a women thing. So if you make fun of Kamala's laugh, you're making fun of most women's laughs. You're not gonna make friends that way. I think with half of the population of America is what I'm trying to say. I'm just noticing this. You may disagree. Whatever. Café Anyway. But yeah, why would you criticize what a lot of women are not having kids these days? They've decided to not. And you know what? Cats are wonderful beings, as Rocky will attest to. He took off. Good thing he didn't claw the you know what out of me. Then I wouldn't be saying all these nice things about cats. But yes, why would you criticize? Jennifer Aniston heard that quote that J.D. Vance said and immediately said something about it. And then you have the criticism about cackling. Oh, so the black community, the men in the black community, I have heard this, that they will
Mike Matthews? You not know Mike Matthews.
Really?
Eminem.
That's me.
We got Eminem.
Maybe
There you go.
Thank you. No, I'm not a rapper though. I don't even try to get me to rap. But yeah, they're not going to put up with it. They put up with Hillary being thrown all kinds of sexist language by the whiny white men on the right. But they're not gonna stand for that with Kamala. This is what I'm hearing from my very what do you call them? Conspiracy theory minded people over there at No Agenda. Oh my gosh. Sometimes they are so wrong. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes I'm like, what? And other times they're, that's true. You know, people, when they're talking on talk radio, they go, look, a lot.
Brewmaster.
They say, look, first. And then look who's here. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. I have a little bit of a cackle when I laugh. Cackling is fun. Mike Matthews. Excellent. And I see you have some more of these snow globes. Mike Matthews, these are the very patriotic snow globes that I have. Mike Matthews. Yeah, these are eggs that you painted the American flag on. They are not snow globes. Mike Matthews are full of fireworks and confetti inside. Mike Matthews. No, they're full of yolk inside because they're eggs. Look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer, Mike. It's quite hot out here and you are sweating quite vociferously. That's true, I am. I'm vociferously sweating. So people can chime in about anything we covered today. Here's the number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And I'm gonna find a fan, not a fan of the show because there are none, but maybe a fan to cool off my bald hot head. Oh, I heard the term today. What was it? I can't really say what it was, but instead of saying the word old, they said bald. And there's like let's say it rhymes with told tart, that expression, but instead.
Anarchy! I don't even know what that means, but I love it.
But instead you say bald, whatever. It's okay. I think I'm turning into one of those. All right, and with more about everything, Mike's Daily Podcast and podcast pictures, past podcasts and all that. And some of the interviews I did. Somebody wanted me to interview their band. And this band's performing in San Francisco next week. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, sure, that's cool. I'll interview your band. Can I get free tickets? And they said, sure, you can get tickets at this link. So I click on the link. You know what happened? It took me to a Live Nation ticket buying site. They wanted me to buy tickets to see the show. They're getting free advertising on the podcast. You're not going to spiff me some tickets? Is that still the verb we use, spiff? Are you not just going to, what's the parlance we used to say? You're not going to give me some will call tickets? Nothing. No. Oh, you can buy tickets. This is why I don't interview any musicians anymore. They used to give me free tickets. Sure, we'll put you on the will call list. I saw many a cool band in the early O's. No, wait, the early 10s. That's right, the mid 10s. And you can see all those interviews at Mike's Daily Podcast. So we go to the mainframe and find out more about all things Mike's Daily Podcast with A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Oh, the sweet, sweet fan is now on. Woo, it feels so good. That was episode 2875, 2875. All things Mike's Daily Podcast can be found at mikesdailypodcast.com.